And that's part of that initial intake when we see patients, because I don't have a single patient that comes to the door and says, oh, my weight's fine, but everything else is a problem, because it all goes together, right? And then I like to do what we call an InBody scan. A lot of people have heard of InBody scans, but if you haven't, it's essentially a way to break down, total weight into lean muscle mass, into water mass, into fat mass. Not only fat mass, but where are you holding that? And that's part of that initial intake when we see patients, because I don't have a single patient that comes to the door and says, oh, my weight's fine, but everything else is a problem, because it all goes together, right? And so for you, one of the first things we did was, okay, let's establish an InBody scan, and we can look at it and see, body fat percentage for women should be under 28, right? But that percentage of how much of your total body weight is made up of body fat and lean muscle mass and bone mass is important. So having a body fat percentage of 34 is fine, but that gives us a goal, right? And so what I care less about is this weight, right? This top number, what your actual pounds are. When we work together, what I'm going to watch is your body fat percentage improving. Are you gaining lean muscle mass? The other number is this visceral fat. So visceral fat is essentially, so you have the fat you can squeeze on your belly. And the visceral fat is all the fat that pads those organs, right? And so the problem with the visceral fat is that's the fat that can store in your liver and increase your cholesterol and make your body more inflamed. When you do have high cholesterol, the higher your visceral fat is, and the way that is now stored in your liver is that's what makes cholesterol more risky, right? Cholesterol doing inside of your body. Part of that we look at is visceral fat. So you're like right at the borderline. So ideally we keep your visceral fat less than 10. So you're at 10, right? So you're okay, but again, are you optimal? So we're going to want to see that number improve. And so when we track this over time, and as we see weight come down, we want to make sure we're not sacrificing muscle mass. There will always be a percentage, but our goal is to keep you less than 15% of your total body weight that you've lost. We want less than 15% of that to be muscle mass, right? What we really are going to make sure we're retaining that muscle. The other one is this extracellular water. That gives us an idea of inflammation. Oh, but so is my extracellular water. And then we know you're not gaining fat, but you're holding on to extra fluid right now because you're having more inflammation. And now we need to use that as a tool to figure out why. Why are you inflamed?